Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life, and in today's video, I'm making an evening vlog, just addressing a question that was asked to me in more detail. And question was asked by Brandon Verdier. I hope I said that right. He asked, "Do you think T-Mobile can put enough pressure on AT&T coverage-wise now?" So I wanted to go more into detail on that subject for you guys. I've got on the last video that I made about T-Mobile increasing their pricing, etc. I got some negative feedback, but I'm just stating the obvious. It's not rocket science. If they want to really compete in the future, prices are going to have to go up. They could possibly implement something like Verizon did back then. I don't know if you remember when you had Verizon's unlimited plan. And if you wanted to upgrade to a 2-year phone to get it at a cheaper cost, you had to opt it out of the unlimited plan. And if you wanted to keep unlimited, you had to purchase the phone at full price. So, T-Mobile could put something similar to that effect into place to increase your pricing, somehow, some way. Now, I'm not saying that, hey, T-Mobile, go ahead and increase your pricing. I'm all for it. But if they want to eventually grow, T-Mobile's overhead is going to go up. More stores, more employees, more towers going up, more small cells. That all increases overhead. They can charge cheaper now because it's cheaper being T-Mobile than it is Verizon or AT&T. But soon it's going to cost more to be T-Mobile competing against a Verizon and AT&T. You got to remember, Verizon and AT&T are in the top 30 corporations in the world, not by size, but by revenue. T-Mobile and Sprint are not even anywhere close on that list, not even close. So it's just stating the obvious. I didn't mean to be, rude or anything like that. I'm just stating the obvious, and you guys should be able to see it too. It's stating the obvious. And as you can see here on the screen, this is just, pointing it out. Verizon spent 17.7 billion in the year of 2015, and it looks like they're getting close to that same capex at the end of this year. And as you can see, with less spectrum than AT&T, Verizon ranks as the best network 93% of the time, according to Root Metrics. Now, I know some of you guys have mixed feelings about Root Metrics, but in my experience, they have been the closest as far as in terms of their testing that I've seen, as far as, the average megabits per second and all the stuff where they rank the carriers at. And to my knowledge, they're the biggest network testing firm that covers all the markets that they do. Other testing firms that I've seen, they only cover a certain amount of markets, just the Midwest. But Root Metrics pretty much covers like the top, I think, 120 markets. So I still follow them. So as you can see, 93% of the time at the end of 2016, with AT&T investing, T-Mobile investing, Sprint investing, and Band 41, and Verizon is still the best network 93% of the time. That's, to me, that's a shocker. That's a shocker. In my opinion, of course, let me know in the comment section down below how you feel. So yes, like I said, I didn't want to offend anybody, but it has to happen. If you're a T-Mobile customer in the future, you're going to pay more. I don't know how T-Mobile will implement this. Right now, we're all grandfathered, but I've seen people, being switched to the T-Mobile One plan without them knowing about it. And it happened to me, but I just so happened to go along with it because it ended up being cheaper for me than keeping my $95 unlimited plan that I had before. And I've seen many other people report this. So T-Mobile is looking for an increase. Like I said, the overhead is increasing. They're adding more stores. They are expanding. But to answer that question from Brandon, it in terms of coverage, T-Mobile is adding more coverage, but you got to remember it's pops, points of presence. It's not necessarily adding a million square miles of LTE. So yes, they are expanding into North Dakota and the Montanas, but that doesn't necessarily cover a million point five square miles so of LTE. So it's going to get very tricky on that part. T-Mobile is going to keep claiming that they're caught up, but in terms of square miles of LTE, they're not even close. And most of their coverage is not dense. So they have band 12 on some of these interstates and highways, but that signal is pretty much shooting down 15 to 20 miles, and it does get congested. So a lot of people are saying it's more of a not necessarily it's coverage, but it's not necessarily good signal. It's more of a fair LTE signal on most of their coverage due to them really stretching band 12 out, and band 12 only allows it to run at 5 megahertz of bandwidth, so that gets sucked up pretty quick. So, but nonetheless, it's still you can still make calls, you can still text, and you should be able to still stream Pandora down that highway or whatever. So that coverage is good coverage. It's just not what most people would like it to be. And then for if you're paying for a premium price, a lot. That's why some people are reverting back to Verizon because if I'm paying on a T-Mobile One, the HD high definition plan 95 plus the phone plus the taxes, I'm coming out to about 150. A lot of people are saying, well, I might as well go with Verizon because they have adjusted their plans, and for that same price, I could be on Verizon on the best network, 93% of the time, as you see. So I mean, I'm not I'm not just throwing stuff out there. As you can see, I have this article pulled up. So, according to Root Metrics, it's a fact 93% of the time. And if you guys understand corporate America and businesses, you guys eventually will, understand that T-Mobile has to go up in pricing to fill in their overhead, and to eventually start taking prime customers and not people that are, getting kicked out of AT&T stores and Verizon for bad credit, which, they'll take those as well, but subprime customers are not all that great. So definitely, and like I said, and that's why a lot of people are hinting towards a merger, because a merger would allow, whatever it's going to be called, if it's T-Mobile or Sprint, it would allow them to keep pricing very competitive as it is now. If both of these companies that stay competitive as a company, like if Sprint just stays Sprint and T-Mobile stays T-Mobile, both of them have to go up in price, especially Sprint, because they need more money ASAP. I'll be dropping a video on this as well. These town hall meetings are being held for the small cells, and Sprint is in a tough spot. That's all I'm gonna say on that. They're in a tough spot of getting these approvals, and it's not just Sprint; it's all carriers. Verizon is stalled. T-Mobile just released a statement saying that it'll take them 3 to 4 years to put up these small cells. And I haven't heard anything from AT&T, but I assume they're working on it as well because they need density in their network too. So as far as Sprint, their high band, their 2500 megahertz, it costs a lot of money to roll that out, and they've lowered their capex. So in other words, Sprint had adjusted their capex according to rolling out small cells. That's why you've seen their capex even lower in the last quarter, because they didn't get as many approvals on the small cells as they would have liked. So that's why Marcelo stated in the last conference call that eventually capex would go up as more approvals. So right now, it seems like their capex is really literally just focused on rolling out small cells and nothing else. It looks like it's not geared towards expansion. It's not geared towards adding, any other band 41 sites. I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like. If your capex was lowered based on not getting approvals for small cells, I mean that's hinting towards something. So if you have any other info on that, let me know. So definitely just wanted to make this video in more detail to let you guys know that yes, T-Mobile is a healthy company, but they're not even close in competing with Verizon or AT&T. And like I said, AT&T and Verizon are in the top 30 biggest corporations in the world revenue wise. So let's say, like I said to my buddy, T-Mobile, hey, we caught up, we're good. Verizon's like, yeah, we see that, but we're going to use our biggest assets, which is our money, and we're going to invest another 17.7 billion in our network, and then we want to see if you can keep up with that, T-Mobile. That's pretty much what they said in real world terms. They said we'll drop 17 billion in 2017, 2018. If we need to increase that by another 5 billion, let's do it. We got the money. That's one thing that T-Mobile can't compete with is money. They might have the fastest network, the most capacity per subscriber, but they can't. T-Mobile is not nowhere near in the position to drop 17, 20 billion on their network per year. They're not in that position right now. And AT&T AT&T is the same as far as what you said, Brandon. AT&T could easily, here's 20 billion, let's get this network going. And AT&T is just focused on other stuff right now. That's why they're losing a lot of customers. They're more focused on expansion into Mexico and media and DirecTV and all that mumbo jumbo. But if they, if they get back on track with their network, and don't get me wrong, they're still adding band 29, band 30, all their other bands. But if they really invest in small cells as well, adding more macro sites, their network could be very dangerous too, because they have more spectrum than Verizon. They just have they're right there with Sprint as far as the amount of spectrum that they have. Sprint still has more of high band, but AT&T's combined spectrum is close to what Sprint has. So definitely keep that in mind. In the next, I want to say, next 3 to 4 years, Verizon will still be the best network. AT&T will still be second. T-Mobile will be a third that's catching up in terms of pops, but square miles of LTE, maybe, another 24 months, I think, with T-Mobile, and we'll see what the real deal is. And as a lot of you stated, their network map online, their coverage map is misleading at times, which is true. Sometimes it says on their map, they have fair LTE signal. That usually means no coverage. And I've seen, let me see here, who said this? Sat Junkie. Hope I said that right. He says there is no T-Mobile service in his area, but AT&T and Verizon have the best coverage, which is usually the case. So definitely keep that in mind. So, leave all your comments in the comment section down below. Like, share, and subscribe this. And like I said, I'm not trying to, be rude or anything like that, but the inevitable is about to happen. And I'm sure most of you can see it as well. I did read some of the comments, and I see you guys are starting to understand. Okay, yeah, T-Mobile, they're gonna have to go up in pricing if they really want to compete with the big two. The duopolies. The Dumb and Dumber, as per John Legere. So definitely, hope you guys had a good weekend. This is the Thanksgiving week, so I want to wish all of you guys a happy holiday. And I'll be dropping a few videos this week. I probably won't drop nothing over Thanksgiving if nothing exciting is going on. So this is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.